2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. Welcome back, everybody, to some Kenshi. It's Cool Kid Croc, and we're back for Season 2, Episode 7 of Kenshi. It's 2 a.m. I'm big. I'm ready to go. So we're heading over to the United Cities with our bounty from the White Eyebrows, and we stumbled upon a ruins on our way there, but I noticed that Harold didn't have the guy anymore. I guess because I saved and I exited the game. Of course, I can't rely on the game, so you know, if that makes half a trip a waste. So I decided I'd just send Skeleton Fox there and then get Harold go over to ruins. There's a few skeleton repair kits and muscles, a few things worth value, and some steel bars we can use for construction over at Fort Harold. I could send Harold back to the fort, and meanwhile, the fort was doing pretty well. Imp Lord was standing guard at the gate, and operations were running pretty smooth. I had the extra leg from way earlier in the series, so I gave that to Mr. Snaky. I just still need to get him a new arm. And then checking our food supplies, we're looking pretty meh, to be honest. On the bright side, I could get construction done for most of the training stuff, like the strength benches. And over in Storm Gorp Cursed, I had Skeleton Fox trying to recruit some people, because there's a JRPG race, which I had from a mod. It's just like basically a Greenlander race that looks a little bit different. I didn't notice too many differences, to be honest. Like, I think I kind of got clickbaited with this one, but I named the bootleg anime bitch off of Dirty Patriot, a viewer of the series, and then went on my way. Now, I would have recruited more, but we already got plenty of mouths to feed over at the base. And a new problem would arise, because I have a bar and see that the cactus rum that we had taken from the White Eyebrows was only worth like fucking 200 cats. It was worth a lot less here. I thought it would have been worth more. The only thing that was worth more was the one sake I had, so that's kind of shit. Now, I did sell the cactus rum, though, just to get rid of it. I mean, I'm sure we'll end up making more with our cactus farms. I noticed I did have an illegal item, which I almost sold, so I didn't sell that to him. We'll have to go through the shinobi thieves if we want to sell illegal goods in cities. I decided to send Skeleton Fox over to the barracks to see what was up in there and if there was any good loot at all. Now, there's only one guard inside, but right after we got inside, this fat bitch comes running up to us, screaming at us. So I tried to leave, but then she runs up to Skeleton Fox, telling him to bow before her. Now, Skeleton Fox ain't no bitch, so he tells her, like, no, like, find someone else to feed your ego. And in return, if she and her fucking goons basically all just, like, palm him to death in one hit. Now, he didn't die, he was only knocked out, which was good. But the best part, too, is I can just see the bitch run off and go, like, 20 meters away to the market stalls, where she probably just bought out all the food from one of the market clerks. So it was a bit of a piss off and a bump in our progress, but at least Dirty Patriot could go over to Skeleton Fox and repair him before he just fucking bled to death. Then after a couple hours, he was able to pick the lock to get out of the cage. Now, this would mean that he is an escaped prisoner, and he's got about a 4K bounty now from escaping, but, you know, who the fuck cares? I don't think we're gonna be coming back here anytime soon, unless it's to raid this place. So, escaping the gates and getting out and meeting up with Dirty Patriot, I could send Skeleton Fox and her back to Fort Harold. A guard tried to chase them, but he fucked back off to Brink. Now, during this entire episode, I was getting Harold to go to the way station because there's lots of things that we needed. We mostly needed electronics and steel bars, as well as books. Plenty of other things we could also use as well. Meanwhile, at the base, I noticed something was going on. So there's a White Eyebrow in the base fighting Imp Lord. So I thought that was pretty brave of him. And he even lived one hit from the mighty Imp Lord. Now, I sent Imp Lord away from him and just had the rest of my party clean him up. And they knocked him out, you know, in no time, just fucking circle ganged him. But instead of leaving him to die in Fort Harold and bleed out, B02 would go up and heal him, because there's an ultimate plan behind this. First, we put him in a bed, and secondly, I wanted to get a house constructed because I thought this would be a good house to put this guy in. Because what we're going to do is heal him up and then use him to train against. We can craft something called the training swords, and these are different type of swords for different classes that'll do 0 damage on each hit. While alternatively, if you're playing vanilla, you could just get a bunch of bandits and do this repeat and do this over and over again. But this isn't Kenshi Vanilla, this is Kenshi Let's Struggle Season 2, Episode 7. So training swords are all fair game. I decided to team Haryoung up with the ant, as I could store some things on the ant while I use Haryoung to do other things. But after not looking for a few seconds, I see that Implord's now trying to eat the fucking guy we put in the bed earlier. So I gotta pick him up and bring him to the house quickly and put him down. That way we can heal him up and then begin training. So by equipping him with a training sword as well as Ruka, I can have them both hit each other back and forth, and this increases their melee defense, their dexterity, and their melee attack. A few other skills maybe too, I'm not quite sure. The only problem is that everyone else in our base would then try to attack this unit, so I had to go over everyone and then put them onto passive mode just for the time being. That way they don't go and try and attack this guy. This makes it a lot easier to train dexterity and all these other skills and get them to an actual decent level. We'll actually be able to do some raids and do some exploring without having to worrying about just losing our entire game. So yeah, pretty sick shit, you know. I decided then to put all the bug boys onto strength training, get their strength up to around level 40 at least, even though it won't help that much, it at least increases blood, and hivers can usually use whatever stats they can get. Haryoung and the ant were just making it into the squin when the band of bones were following them. Luckily, there was a bunch of guards nearby, so there's no worries there. And either way, Haryoung was fast as fuck. He runs at like 30 kilometers an hour now. But I could sell all of the copper that we had brought in and then pick up a bunch of electronics as well as some wheat straw and leather, I decided, because we might as well set a wheat straw farm up to try. That way we can make some bread and balance out our food ratio. Now I picked up a nice nomad cape for Haryoung and got rid of his shitty old goggles that he's been wearing for a bit now. The cape looks a lot more suiting and it'll actually give him a little bit more stats. And I also grabbed some steel bars as well for the strength benches and such. But with that, we could head back to Fort Haryoung. I had plenty of training swords on the way to be made because I realized I could have 5 people attacking this guy at once instead of just 1. And this would make it so not only those 5 are getting a lot more experience at once, but the person that we are fighting as well, if we manage to recruit him afterwards, will have a shit ton in his defense. A few hours later though, Haryoung ended up getting back to the base and putting all the stuff that he got from Squin into the base. Now, a wonderful little treat going on, you know, a nice little joke. The fucking bug house is bugging out again. I can't go up to the second floor for some reason, so it's just driving me insane. Can't do anything about it. On the bright side, I got Implord on the outskirts of the city defending, so he's stopping these annoying little nuisance attacks, like not even really threatening attacks, just fucking idiocy mostly. I just love how he takes a bite though, and then BAM, and then back to biting. Now at this point, it's been a little bit of our people training, and their stats are gone up quite a bit, you know, about 40 levels each, so they're all around 60 for some stats, which is pretty good. That's about the highest that we have on our squad right now, other than Implord, of course. And watching this is just like utter insanity. I mean, like, I guess this can be the new initiation process for everyone that wants to let me know that they want to be in the series or be a character in the series. Then you just gotta get beat up for a few days. But I had Haryoung go over and finish him off and knock him out for the time being. That way we could heal him up and then put him into the cage. Right away though, the fucking Implord decides to run over and try to eat him, and we can't be having this, so I sent Implord outside of the city, you know, just have him fuck off for a bit. And this is when I noticed our food rations are getting very low. We are almost out of food, even though I've been grabbing food from the way station the entire episode back and forth. I got the wheat straw farm constructed ASAP and might even grab some more if we're not growing it too fast. Now I placed this swamp dome in the middle of Fort Haryoung just because I'm going to put the research bench in here now, seeing as the bug house is bugged. I have no other use for this building right now, but I'll try and figure one out. Either way though, I get this new research bench constructed and all good to go. That way we can work on it there. The downside of the guy that we had put in a cage doesn't want to join us yet. Every time we talk to him, he's basically, fuck off, you know. So we're gonna have to wait a bit until he starves. On a bright side though, we are at least producing quite a bit of cactus, so I can upgrade my cactus farms real soon and probably get a cactus rum distillery going pretty soon. Holy fuck, I butchered that word. I also put a storage crate in for the wheat straw, and then I noticed with the 2 storage crates and the water tank, kind of looks like a cock. Some sightful insight for you. But everything else was going pretty smooth, you know. I had everyone else mining, weapons being made, and implored killing everything. Set up this I set up an item furnace. Fucking having a stroke. I set up this item furnace. That way I can throw all the crap swords that we've been making throughout the past few days into there for some raw iron back. And that brings me to the end of the episode. In the next episode, we'll be doing a little bit more hyper training, and then probably either going to go raid a few bandit bases or exploring. If you guys like this episode, make sure you guys leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everyone who has been leaving comments in the comment section below and sharing the videos. The channel has been doing pretty well recently in the way that the videos are going from, you know, like a few people watching them to like a few dozen or so. So I'm glad you guys are liking this series and I appreciate the support. Anyways, if you guys want to, join my Discord server in the description below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.